know about you, but I have been known to overthink things a bit. Whether it's overthinking a decision, whether it's overthinking a conversation I just had, whether it's overthinking anything. Trust me, I could win the award on it. But if that sounds like you too, let's go on this journey together from overthinking to being in an authentic presence. So imagine like you're about to give a presentation. Your heart's racing, your palms are sweaty, your mind races through every possible scenario. What if you forget your talking points? What if people laugh when they're not supposed to? What if they don't laugh when they are supposed to? This is overthinking at its peak. It sabotages our confidence and our well-being. But there's so many other ways that overthinking shows up in our lives. We could be ruminating on a previous conversation or social interaction that we had, which comes along with social anxiety. And it's likely that the other person is either doing the same thing or not even thinking twice about the thing that we're ruminating on. And it could also be about overthinking a decision. It's interesting because we think and think and think because we want to make the right choice. We want to make the right decision and we don't want to get off course. But the ironic thing about that is that, like, even the most successful people say that they make quick decisions. And what's amazing about that part is that in making a quick decision, if it's the wrong one, you can really quickly pivot. But the cool thing about that is that the more you get into an authentic presence and you start making these quick choices from a state of flow, then the more likely you're going to be making the right choice. Your intuition is guiding you, your higher self is guiding you, so that's just going to lead you quickly to the right choice. I know for me, when I make a choice about something that just feels like a full body yes, I'm like, yes, that's the one. Then it's typically the best choice that I could have made. But when I get into my head about it and start overthinking it and what if this and what if that, then that's when I sabotage things. And like I said, it can lead to inaction or feeling paralyzed. Like, I don't want to make the wrong choice. So we go back and forth, weighing out all the different choices, and then we're paralyzed. We don't make any choice, which is the worst thing that we could do in most situations. Some situations, yes, it's if you get like an I don't know, you're not getting a full body yes or a no, and it's an I don't know. Maybe you need more information and more time. But in most cases, you don't want to get stuck in that indecision. And even in that time when you need more time, you don't want to get stuck. You want to stay open and get yourself in a authentic presence so that you can be led to the right choice for you, right? And again, like when you make choices quickly, even if you made the wrong choice, it's easier, quicker to pivot to the right choice. Like if you've seen that example of a ball, like the one that's going up and down gets to the end faster than the one that's going straight downhill. So, a wrong decision maybe isn't a wrong decision. It's just information on what is the right decision or where you can pivot and make a new choice. And the thing is we all experience it. Some more than others. It can be worse with like CPTSD, anxiety, neurodivergence, high intelligence. That I don't know where it's coming from, but there is a cow, if you guys can hear it in the background. I've never heard a cow here, so somebody must have a new one, or there's one that's gotten loose somewhere. I don't know, but there's a cow across the gulch, and it's cracking me up so hard. If you hear the cow, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to put on a little ambient background music to maybe cover some of these noises. But either way, we all experience this overthinking, some more than others, but that internal chatterbox can really analyze, criticize, and cause worries that are unnecessary and that are causing us more harm than good. And it can be a never ending loop of what ifs and should haves, and oh my God, going back over that conversation, and did that offend them, or did I say the wrong thing? And it's a common pattern, and it keeps us from being truly present in our lives, but also from enjoying the moment, this overthinking, and enjoying just being in a flow and an ease in life. It isn't just a mental hurdle. It impacts our relationships, our decision making, and our overall growth as a whole, because again, it gets us in a stuck place where we're not really moving anywhere. We're just in this playing over and over the same thing again. And if you do deal with CPTSD or anxiety, the Crappy Childhood Fairy, she's amazing. She's on YouTube. I will actually link her in the description. She does a great video on limerence. So if you do have neurodivergence or CPTSD, limerence can be, you just get this thought stuck in your head and it goes into like an imagination or a fantasy, and what you're playing isn't even the actual scenario that happened. If that sounds familiar, go check out her video. I found it really helpful personally. But it's like you said, it can hurt us in our decision making, but also in our relationships. Think of the times that you've hesitated to speak up, or that you've missed out on opportunities because of fear and holding back and not making a choice quick enough. Or if you've just struggled to make a simple decision because your mind is in this overdrive. Like, I know if I get hungry, if I wait too long before I eat something, then I get stuck. And this is common with ADHD, but I can't decide what to eat. And then I get frantic and like freak out, and nothing sounds good, or everything sounds too complicated. I actually have a designated shelf in one of my cabinets that's like instant foods. I don't do a lot of preservatives or processed foods, but it's things like a pack of tuna or some, chips or crackers or something that I can eat quickly, some meat sticks that will help me get centered so I can actually like make a meal for myself. But so many life hacks. If you have ADHD, they'll just be snuck in here. It's how I live. But in this quest for presence, there are so many ways to go about it. I'm giving you this overthinking scenario that is riddled with anxiety, but imagine like sipping your morning coffee in the morning. You get this aroma that like fills your senses. Sunlight is streaming through the window. You feel completely immersed in the moment. The most important thing you're doing in that moment is drinking that coffee and having your morning ritual. And that's the sense of mindfulness. It's this ability to focus your attention on the present without judging it or overthinking it. So even just in feeling that, I noticed that my speech slowed down. I felt more calm and relaxed in my body, even just thinking about being in the present moment, right? So you can even just feel that in my words and see like which one feels like a healthier, more peaceful place to be in. And you can do this, it's exercising a muscle. We can train our minds to be present, and we just got to exercise it, and like you can visualize a calm lake with no ripples. That's stillness. That's what we're aiming to cultivate in our moments. And of course, not every moment is going to be in complete presence unless you're like Eckhart Tolle or something. I'm sure maybe even he gets out of the present at some point. But we're human, we're normal people, but the more that we can cultivate this, the more often it is our state. And in this world of constant distractions, finding this calm in the midst of the chaos is a superpower. You're going to be one of the rare people that actually have this, which allows you to make even better decisions. It's going to allow you to elevate your life in such a meaningful and powerful way. So, like always, I'm going to give you some tools for how you can find this presence in your day to day moments, in your day to day life. First of all, when you end a social interaction, create some kind of ritual for yourself. Like for me, if my mind starts to go in and I start to overthink that situation, I'll have a conversation with myself. I'll be like, Melissa, this is coming from your past. This is trauma. This is the fear that you've done something wrong or you're going to be abandoned or rejected. It's not real. It's not real in this moment. This person chooses to be a part of your life. You've had many conversations with them. They still come back and are a part of your life. Whatever happened, it wasn't that important. Just let it be. And just having that conversation, I usually put my hand on my heart and one on my belly and just like get present in that moment and just like calm myself. Let myself know it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Now, if you feel like you said something that was hurtful or a person told you that it was hurtful or they were offended, then sure, self-reflection is great. But there's a big difference between self-reflection and rumination. And if you want to reflect on things, that goes into a conversation about what could I have done differently? How would it have made me feel if someone had said that to me in that situation? Can I try on maybe what they're feeling in this moment and see where they were coming from? Of course, a lot of us here are empaths, so that just happens automatic. But just little things like that can help you get to the self-reflection. But if you're just overplaying the conversation over and over again in your mind, like that is anxiety riddled and it is not going to help you. So find whatever you can to get yourself centered. taking a few deep breaths. It's literally impossible to be in a state of anxiety while you're taking deep breaths. When you're taking conscious deep breaths, that is where your attention goes. It automatically brings you into the present moment. So when you feel that rumination happening, take some deep breaths. Just stop in through your nose, out through your mouth. Put some holds in there if that feels good to you. Always good. Like put your hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Just let's do it together right now. Let's just take a minute. I know I'm talking fast. I feel like I'm in this like mode. I'm going somewhere after this. So let's just get present together for a second. Yes. So again, go in through your nose, expand your belly. You can even hold it for a few seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth. And when you're exhaling, just intentionally release any tension or rumination. Um, you can repeat that several times, and you'll automatically feel your body relax. Another great way to get present is, what do I hear right now? What do I see right now? What do I feel right now? What do I taste right now? What do I sense right now? When you get yourself back into your senses, it brings you right into the present moment, which is really, really powerful. Um, Another thing is you can like observe your thoughts. Imagine they're clouds and you're looking up in the sky, and just imagine yourself looking at the sky and these thoughts just kind of floating by. Or sometimes I'll put the thought in a bubble or in a balloon and watch it float away and be like, bye, later, bye. And just like let it go away. Whatever feels aligned for you. You can come up with your own ritual, but it helps. It's definitely going to help when you're in those moments. Or if you are about to give an important speech or make a presentation or have an important conversation, you can do these things with the intrusive thoughts that you have, the anxiety thoughts that you have of what if I mess up? What if I get it wrong? You can do that. All these tools apply to any form of overthinking. Meditation, it is a training for your mind. If you're like, oh, I'm terrible at meditating, no, that just means that you're doing it right. When you get quiet, your mind is going to throw in some mental chatter, and the more you practice like quieting that chatter, getting into your senses, getting into your body, into the present moment, the easier it is to like have control of those thoughts. Sometimes I will, when I'm in a meditation, I'll imagine like a volume knob, and I will feel my senses. Sometimes I'll even actually do it with my hands, and I'll give them a volume, give the thoughts a volume, and then like slowly like turn it down and like listen to them turning down until I get that very satisfying click when you turn something off. You're like turning down the dial, and then there's that little click. I don't know about you guys, but I find that click so satisfying. But when the notch goes into place, imagine that happening in your meditations, and that will really help. But don't judge the thoughts. Just let them come and go. Let them come and go. They're going to be there. Be like, hey, I thought. Just let it happen. There is no bad meditation. If you're giving yourself time to be quiet, to be still, it's going to benefit you. That's it. Again, no judgment. It's so important not to judge these thoughts. No matter what you're doing to calm the nervous system, to calm these thoughts, it's important to not judge yourself or to judge the thoughts. Don't be hard on yourself. This is just a part of being human. And you can, repeat these exercises. If you do it once and you still feel it, keep doing it. And it will get lesser and lesser with every time. Every time you see that balloon float away or the clouds floating by, just keep repeating the process until you feel a calmness and an inner peace. Another great way is journaling. Get it out of the body. I always say that. Sometimes I'll just say it into like my notes app and even delete it afterwards, or just write it down. When you get it out of the body, it just helps. It just helps it literally get it out of your body, because a lot of times these things, they get stuck in our nervous system, and that's what's happening. Our nervous system is triggering these thoughts and we're ruminating on them. But literally taking it out of your body and putting it somewhere else, making art with it, whatever feels great and feels aligned to you, will help to get that out. You can also, like, a great way if you are a chronic overthinker is brain dumping. Just first thing in the morning, just like everything that comes to your mind, just dump it all out until you have nothing else, and then you can start your day like really clear without all of those thoughts like plaguing you and just making things worse. It's a great opportunity to explore what's on your mind and to explore your feelings without censoring yourself. You just let it all come out. And it can also help you understand your patterns and release these pent up emotions, because you'll start to see things every time you do this brain dump or every time you do this journaling, you'll start to see recurring patterns. And once we become aware of a pattern, that's when it starts to shift. Just bringing it into the conscious awareness automatically, you don't even have to do anything with it. Just know that it's there, and it's automatically the subconscious will start working on it and starting to shift it. But as you understand and release these patterns and emotions, it's going to lead to a greater clarity and calmness just overall. And when we're caught in overthinking, we often lose touch with our true selves because it takes us out of this embodiment and this presence and this mindfulness, right? And a great way to deal with that is by starting to identify your values and your desires, the things that light you up, the things that make your heart sing. The foundation of your authentic expression lies in these things, the things that just light you up and make you feel expansive. And so by identifying, and this can help with the journaling and the brain dumping as well, is like identifying what are these things that feel expansive, so that you know when you're not in that space, and you know the space that you're returning to, that you're looking to return to. Another part of this overthinking and soothing the overthinking is to embrace your imperfections. It's so crucial to understand that you're human. If you feel like you need to do a lot of work on this, there is Kristen Neff has Fierce Self Compassion, but there's also a book which I highly recommend. It's the Mindful Self Compassion Workbook. And it's really great at helping us identify these judgments and also understanding that we are human, and these things that we think are so awful or difficult, like most of us, if not all of us, are dealing with them in some form. So, you got to let go of this need to be perfect and to fit, or wanting to fit in or meet unrealistic expectations. And authenticity, it comes from this place of being comfortable in your own skin, flaws and all. I say that all the time. Like, I love myself, flaws and all. And it's true. And it took a while to cultivate this. It took some inner work to cultivate this and facing my shadows. And that's the cool thing about the shadows, is that we run from them because they seem so scary. But once we face them, we realize it's really not that bad. And it's all very, very human. So, aligning in a life of acting from a place of authenticity, it really helps you to make choices that are going to align with your values. It helps you to speak your truth. It helps you just to live in harmony with your inner self. And also, you got to embrace the journey. Presence isn't a destination, it's an ongoing process. It's something that we practice throughout our lives. And making choices that align with your values, speaking your truth, these things, they really help you to cultivate this self-love that allows you to be mindful throughout your day, noticing your thoughts and feelings without getting carried away with them. It's a continuous practice. It helps you build resilience and to navigate all of life's challenges with more ease and flow and surrender and confidence and trust, right? But again, it's not a destination. It is an ongoing practice, and accepting that and understanding that can be helpful. To just take a deep breath, right? Again, cultivating this self compassion is so important. Be kind to yourself, acknowledge your struggles, offer yourself the same support that you would give somebody that you love. Because you are somebody that you love, right? Even if you need to start by envisioning your inner child and giving them love, that eventually your inner child and your adult self will reconcile, and it's all just self love. But whatever way that works for you to get you started on that, like, it just, this self-compassion and this self-love, it's so crucial to escape the trap of overthinking, because it is really just such self-sabotage to be stuck in these overthinking loops, right? Recognizing, everybody makes mistakes, and it's okay. And I even have to tell myself sometimes, even when I'm going over a conversation and I realize that I did, if it's something that I need to make amends with and talk to the person, I will do that. But if it was something just like, whatever, that was dumb, then, it's okay, Melissa. You're human. You make mistakes just like everybody else. And that was a gift of the mindful self-compassion work that I've done, is it just has really taught me, not as a thinking thing, but just as a way of being, to give myself the loving kindness that I've always, given to others as a very empathetic person. And so when I give that so freely to others, even when they are acting in a way that doesn't feel good or isn't in alignment with my values, to still be able to give them kindness and compassion, like, why wouldn't I do that for myself? Like, I'm my person. We're all given this human, our own human, to care for in this lifetime. So it's my responsibility. It's my one job. We got one job, y'all. One job is to care for this human. Is to care for your human. So start thinking of it in that way. Like, you are a greater soul that is caring for this human being, and allowing that human to be a human, and that means being flawed, and that's okay. This journey towards authentic presence, it is a journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, self-love. And as you quiet your mind and you connect with this true self and you embrace your authenticity, you'll create a life of greater purpose and fulfillment. You'll automatically start making decisions and choices that are aligned with your highest truth. You'll automatically allow yourself to be brave in situations that you would have normally avoided. You'll automatically start seeing more possibilities and opportunities because they feel aligned with the person who you've become and the person who you love. When you see a great opportunity, instead of talking yourself out of it or overthinking it or thinking all the ways that you could screw it up, you'll start thinking of all the ways you could really nail it. You could really get it right. And it's just that shift will make such a profound difference, again, in your relationships, when you can be present in your conversations without, like, oh my God, am I doing it wrong? Or what am I saying? Or did I say the wrong thing? And you can just really be present in those conversations. People feel that. People tell me, especially when I meet new people or whatever, and I'm not saying this to brag. This is something I've worked very hard to cultivate, and I'm not always there. But it is more and more, like, people will just tell me, they'll be like, there's just something about you. Like, I just want to be around you. I just, it's this magnetism. And it's because me being comfortable with myself gives other people permission to be comfortable with themselves. When they see me accepting myself, flaws and all, it lets them know, oh, I'm going to be accepted, flaws and all. This person can accept flaws. This person is okay with shadows. So even if they don't realize that that's what they're thinking, because a lot of times they don't, they're like, I don't know what it is. I just want to be around you. And I know what it is. I'm like, and I'll even say that. I'm like, it's because I've given myself permission to be myself. And that gives you space to be yourself. And when we can show up as our authentic selves, it's just the best feeling. You really do start to fall in love with yourself, because you're being the you who your soul wants to be. And you're like, oh, you're awesome. You're amazing. You're exactly who I want you to be. And it cultivates this joy and this inner peace and this knowing and this confidence that you can't fake. So I hope that we have gone on a journey that helps you to escape this trap and the sabotage of overthinking, and given some tools to get you through it, so that when you find yourself in this place of rumination, or you're about to stop yourself from doing something that would be really great for you, you can check into these tools. You can even come back to this conversation and know that you have resources and that you're not stuck with this, and that you can change your life in any moment. The moment you decide, the moment you choose something different, you can be something different. So thank you for being here. I love you. I'm going to include a meditation to go along with this, so check it out and have an awesome day. Aloha.